4.5 tips to find a long-term rental in France. Finding a long-term rental in France can be quite a journey, especially if you're new to the country. Reviewing multiple websites, managing expectations, and visiting different housing types can make it challenging to find the perfect place. It typically takes about 2 to 3 weeks to find a rental apartment in France, and often longer in Paris or other big French cities, depending on your budget, of course, and your criteria. But don't worry, I've got some insider tips to help you streamline your search and find your ideal home faster. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Giga from the blog Expat in France. I help English-speaking expats to move to France and navigate French culture and bureaucracy to build their new French life on their own terms. If you're planning to move to France and don't know which sponsor-free visa is the best option for you, take the French visa quiz via the link under this video. Requesting the wrong visa is one of the top reasons for visa refusal. So get clarity and take control of your move to France. Now let's dive in. Tip number 1. Set your budget and needs. Rental prices in France vary widely depending on the location. Real estate agencies usually follow an unwritten rule that rent shouldn't exceed 1/3 of your income. This rule helps ensure that you can actually afford the place that you're renting, since French law highly protects tenants, making it difficult for owners to evict someone for not paying rent. For example, with a 720 monthly budget in 2024-2025, you can expect different property sizes in various French cities, as you can see on this graph. Keep in mind that furnished accommodations are usually about 20% more expensive. Besides rent, remember to take into account the hidden costs. So you'll also have to consider the moving costs, real estate agency fees, usually around 1 month's rent, security deposit, also 1 month's rent excluding charges, and this can be more for furnished accommodation, fees to turn on the utilities for water that would be between 30 to 60 euros depending on the region and the provider. For gas and electricity, it's usually about 20 euros if you anticipate it, about 5 days, and up to 150 euros for an express service, 24 hours. For the internet setup, it can go up to 50 euros. Now, tip number 2, understand the ads. Now that you have set your budget and know a bit more about the other costs, you'd be obviously searching for rental ads. This can be a bit tricky because besides the normal French vocabulary, real estate agents often use coded terms and abbreviations. Let me share with you the main ones. You may have seen the codes T1, T2, or maybe F1, F2, F3, etc. on rental ads. French rentals are classified by size and are coded as follows. T for type is for the apartment, and F for foncier is usually for houses. Then the number illustrates the living space, living room, plus the numbers of bedroom. So T1 would be for a studio, T2 for a 1-bedroom apartment, F3 is for a house with 2 bedrooms, so F for foncier for a house, and 3 for 3 rooms, 1 living room and 2 bedrooms. The kitchen, bathroom and toilet are not mentioned in the code. The toilet is often separate from the bathroom, an important feature for many French people. You can sometimes see an ad for a T2 bis. The bis will stand for a double room. This means that there would be an alcove in the bedroom or in the living room. Alcoves are very common in Lyon's old apartments, for example. Caution, there is often a misuse of the letter F here. So this means that you will find 1-bedroom apartments stated as F2 instead of T2. Now tip number 3, prepare your rental file. Whether you're using an agency or not, having a complete rental file ready when visiting properties can make a huge difference. The following documentation, known as a dossier, is allowed to be requested from prospective tenants. So that would be proof of identity, proof of earnings, unemployment status if applicable, so that would be, for example, a work contract, tax filings from the year before, etc., proof of sufficient resources, proof of current address, and copy of your bank details, called RIB in French. You will find a specific video on this up there. Some landlords may ask for larger deposits if you don't yet have a French bank account. Now, once you have completed those steps, you are finally ready to visit as many places as possible until you find your new home. This is crucial, especially in big cities where competition can be fierce. Due to the pandemic, the demand in Paris has decreased and more people seek a better quality of life and more space. But in any case, it is still essential to be over-prepared when looking for a rental in Paris. This means that it can be harder to find long-term rentals in some French cities than it is actually in Paris. As we can see on this graph from 2023, there are more candidates per rental properties in Rennes, Lyon or Annecy than in Paris. Then tip number 4, book a temporary housing with the possibility to extend. Some people want to secure a long-term rental housing before even arriving in France. Unless you contract the services of a relocation agency, I wouldn't choose that option and sign a contract without visiting a property, or even less, paying any money without a signed contract. The holding deposit is not legal in France and is the biggest red flag for scams. So there is no miracle recipe, unfortunately. I'd recommend you book temporary housing like a hotel or Airbnb for about 2 to 3 weeks with an option to extend. And you should use every available resources to find your long-term rental, like online platforms such as Le Bon Coin, Se Loger, PAP, or even real estate agencies. Despite being more expensive, it can expedite your search. You can also use built-in boards at universities or workplace, and networking is usually the way to find the best deals. So talk about your search to your new colleagues and your acquaintances. They might have heard of a good opportunity. Now, tip number 5, find a guarantor. This is often the trickiest part for expats. While it's more challenging, it's possible to find a rental without a guarantor. Your best bet is to rent directly from the owner and avoid agencies. I've done a dedicated video on this topic to check out up there for more details. I hope these tips will help you in your home search. If you found this video useful, don't forget to give it a like to help my channel, and you will find another video here that you might like. Thank you for watching until the end. Merci et à bientôt!